Power up. Get over here!
Hey, everybody out there in YouTube. Once again, it is the three middle-aged guys just bullshitting about nothing. I am the Reverend.
The theme here.
Gray Mouse 1.
And we are going to start our Geek Week in a review. This first video, we are actually going to cover the obvious. September 7th, 2016, Sony came out of their way during their PlayStation meeting, and they announced the obvious. Something that everybody already knew about. They made it official that they are bringing out the PS4 Slim and the PS4 Pro, formerly known as the NEO, and not any of that Forever Edition bullshit that you saw online the previous day. We'll cover that later. But they came out and they gave their official word, and they laid their cards on the table as far as what their plans were. Not just their plans, but, hey, this is what Sony has. They unzipped their pants. They dropped their dick out on the table. They levered everybody look at it and said, this is what we've got. And everybody has thoughts on it. Gentlemen, cut or uncut, what are your thoughts on Sony? And
wait a second here.
Meeting?
Now, first of all, what did they lay out on the table? The shit was the same. Look, wait.
Definitely no surprises, that's for sure.
Wait a minute.
What really killed it for me, too, was, the theme is right. They just said the original PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 4 Slim, this PlayStation 4 Slim is now a vanilla machine.
Okay.
There is no upgrades. There's nothing. It's the exact same thing.
Though. Yeah, I mean, okay. This is me. Okay, I didn't expect any upgrades from the PS4 to the PS4 Slim, because usually when there's a slimmer console, there aren't any upgrades. They wanted to probably emphasize this time around, maybe because.
Well, in stark contrast to the Xbox or to Microsoft, there was an upgrade from the Xbox One to the Xbox One.
Okay. No, will it make their library of first-party games grow?
No.
What the fuck is the upgrade really for?
No, with the Xbox One, it's an internal power.
Again.
Which should have been done the first time.
Not even that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this video, I want you to understand my position on gaming here. The Atari Jaguar was more powerful than the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Which one had the fucking better games on? If you got a console, you must concentrate on games, period. First, foremost, and period. Power, look, everything's going to be powerful due to the times, because technology moves forward and so on and so forth. But if your games floss its teeth with dick hairs, they're not going to get anywhere. Your system's not going to get anywhere. If your control sucks, if your games don't load up, if your game is like Arkham Knight on the PC, fuck that. Then your games and your system isn't worth it. So power really doesn't mean a damn thing to me if you don't even have the games that are going to be utilizing all of that fucking power. When have we really, really seen that? Games that utilize all the power of the fucking console. Every fucking game. Every fucking time.
Well, to add to what you're saying, that usually doesn't happen until late in the generation.
Exactly.
And we're only 3 years into this one, so those games have not.
Do you think that's halfway through? Or a third?
I'd say about a third.
If Microsoft and Sony have their way, this generation is never gonna fucking end.
So their next system, the Slim, is gonna be like this, and you're gonna download your games on it.
The Pro V2.
Well, see, the original point I was making was that, in stark contrast of Microsoft, I know what you're saying, but that's
in both.
Well, Sony too. I don't know. I figured that Sony would do more of a, I don't know, I don't know what to say, better system than what they did. It's pretty much just a slimmed down version. I mean, they did rearrange a couple.
Okay. I understand where you're getting at, but okay. Oh, so my old games will load up faster on here.
No. Well, I mean, the aesthetics are different on both the Sony PlayStation Slim and the Xbox One Slim. But what I'm saying was they pretty much just took the PlayStation 4 and shrunk it down. That's all they did. At least on Microsoft's side, they changed some stuff. They took the power from external to internal. They changed the buttons around a little bit.
Well, let me interject on that a bit. The one thing about adding HDR, upgrading the wireless network, and then bumping it up to 4K streaming, what a lot of people don't realize is that if you go out of your way to buy older parts or older components that are custom configured, guess what? You're going to spend a lot more money out of pocket than the stuff that's right there right now that's current.
Exactly.
So it probably made more sense for Microsoft to go ahead and go with the better wireless communicator, to go ahead and, hey, look, the boards and the chips that are there on the readers right now, they facilitate 4K streaming. They facilitate HDR. So adding it really wasn't that big of a deal. Mm-hmm. I got to say that they needed something, though, to keep people interested. Otherwise, people weren't going to be, and they would have no incentive at all whatsoever, knowing that Scorpio is coming out, which I understand does very much mirror the situation that we have with Sony. Let's still expand on the Slim a little bit before we step up to the Pro.
But if you're, I really don't understand what Sony was thinking. I mean, they could have completely skipped the Slim.
Exactly what they were thinking last time with the PS1 Slim, the PS2 Slim, the PS3 Slim, the Super Nintendo Mini, the NES Mini, the new Sega Genesis version 2, the Sega Genesis version 3, the Sega CD version 2.
I got your point. I got your point, goddammit.
All the Game Boys. All the DSs.
What really kills me is that by now, it's 3 years into the generation. By now, everybody who has a PlayStation 4 pretty much already has one now. Or
wait a minute. What about all the Game Boys, all the DSs?
God damn it, I'm moving on from that shit, dude. I understand what you're saying, dude.
You know what's funny is that the portable devices have gotten bigger and the home consoles are getting smaller.
Absolutely. The exact opposite.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it was wise. The thing is, though, I don't know if it was wise for Sony to come out with a Slim so close to the release of their
Pro. Galaxy says hello.
I mean, seriously. I mean, at least with Microsoft, they have a full year in between their Slim versus their Scorpio. But on the Sony side, it's
with
like
Halo 6 included.
It's like months. It's like months into, for the Slim. It's just, I was like,
what happened to more choices, more variety?
What do you mean?
That's the reason why we keep our old systems.
Exactly.
Now, to give my thoughts on the Slim, really, and we have already talked about this last week, but generally speaking, I honestly, when it comes to the Slim and the way that people have reacted to it, my honest thoughts are, what the hell did people expect? Really, what the fuck did you expect?
Yeah.
All right. It was going to be a smaller, quieter system that runs less hot, that draws less power. It takes up less. It takes less space on your shelf. Okay. And that's Sony's forte. That's what they've done with all of their fucking home consoles. It was inevitable. It was something that was going to come out. They weren't going to sit there and throw in anything that was going to make you feel like, oh, hey, look, I'm getting a sandwich and a blowjob.
Well, Sony fanboys are some of the Microsoft fanboys too, but Sony fanboys are some of the
fanboys. Period.
Exactly. I mean, I'm with you with that. What were you fucking expecting? I guess because those guys, with Microsoft Slim, they
No, okay. Like you just mentioned, fanboys. When Microsoft motherfuckers was like, Scorpio, Slim S, what do you have? You don't have this, Sony. You don't have this.
Yeah, but they're also sucking at a schlong that's a year away.
But it was still okay.
But no. But I mean, I think maybe the Sony guys are a little like, you know, I guess they were expecting it to be on par with the Xbox Slim or above it. Because for some reason, you know, I know this is going to come up anyway in this conversation, is that for some people think that power equals best.
That's why I went on a mini rant that I went on earlier.
No, I know.
Because it's like, come on, people. You know, you got these two powerful, you got Sony and Microsoft that's going to come out with this powerful ass shit, but the games are still not going to equal to the power that they're going to be bringing out.
Well, you know, my stance on hardware capability and everything, maybe it's because of my professional background and all of that, but where it really interests me is that I take in consideration, okay, how does this expand the potential gameplay experience that somebody is going to have?
Exactly.
How is this going to make a difference in making games? How is this going to make a difference for developers so that they can present a different experience?
Well,
as skeptical as I am of VR, I do understand that's a different experience. But there are still some things that personally that I have reservations about. I think that goes for everybody here in this conversation. Where this conversation really starts to take fruition, and especially in consideration what was going on with on September 7th, is of course the announcement and the unveiling of the Pro. Okay, the former NEO, PS4 Pro. Now, where I really wasn't disappointed in anything they talked about and referred to and revealed about the Slim. There are some things that I have reservations about on the Pro. Before I get into that, I know you guys have thoughts. Who wants to go first?
Again, what the fuck did you expect? This is basically for VR 4K gaming. That's pretty much it.
Actually, there was one thing that Sony did that was good in regards to the Pro. Was there was 4K was all over the place as far as a lot of the things that they were going on about. But one of the things that they were very upfront about was that, look, if you're not doing VR and if you're not gaming on a 4K TV, if all you're running is standard 1080p and everything else, you're going to see a huge difference in the graphical fidelity of your games. Games are going to run faster, they're going to run smoother, because you're going to be able to tap that hardware power, which was like one of the things about the Scorpio, which was like the stupidest fucking thing that what's his name, the
Phil
guy
Spencer.
who's up, yeah, Phil Spencer. When he sat there and they were talking about it, they were like, okay, so why would anybody want to go ahead and get a Scorpio if you didn't have a 4K TV or you didn't want to use Oculus Rift? And he sat there and he was like, well, if you're not doing the 4K thing or if you're not interested in VR, you can always get a hold of the Slim. And I understand he's trying to push the Slim because he needs something to actually sell for the next fucking year.
You don't have internet, buy a 360.
Yeah, but the stupid thing is that,
you wouldn't go. No,
That was the equivalent.
yeah,
No.
I mean, the stupid thing
Yes,
is
it was.
I
Oh,
understand.
you can't get this. You can't get with the times. There's still the predecessor.
Well, it wasn't exactly that, but it was almost as insulting for the fact that it was like, so you're telling me that I have no real reason to go ahead and jump on what you're offering. What you're telling me is going to change my life gaming wise, unless I'm jumping into VR or I have a 4K fucking TV, that I should just go out of your way and buy what you're offering right now. When the truth of the matter is the whole reason why I'm asking you this question is because I'm already on the fence about what you're fucking offering right now.
Well, now wait a minute. What you said about Sony, oh yeah, your games will see graphical improvements and they'll run faster. So you can get Tony Hawk 5 for your PS4 Pro and it'll be smoother It'll run faster, but the game still fucking sucks.
Now, I've got reservations about that, but before we go into that, go ahead, guys. What are your thoughts initially?
Gray Mouse, go. Nothing?
With what?
With the PS4 Pro.
The Pro.
Yeah. Because I know you said
formerly the 4.5, formerly the NEO.
Well,
yeah, you said you had a negative thoughts.
With the PlayStation Pro, I think you hit the nail on the head when you were talking earlier about that the PlayStation Pro has been in development for a long time. And we're just now seeing, because there's no way that you can have a system come out in the next couple months and not have a long development phase. So I think when they created their Pro, it was more in line for their PlayStation VR. That was the whole purpose of it. Yeah, your games are going to run a little bit faster due to, what is it, 4 teraflops of GPU or whatever they call it.
Yeah, according to the specs, the processor and the video processor is you're pretty much running twice as much computational power as the standard PS4 right now.
Which would, improve your games, but like Dean said, even if you play Tony Hawk 5, if the game still sucks, it's still going to suck no matter what system you're playing it on.
Oh, you can suck faster. You suck bad.
But that's really not a fault of the system. That's
I know.
No.
It's the games that should be
focus should be the main focus.
Yeah, it should be the main focus of everything. The system has to have the capabilities, but that's going to come with the times. That's going to come with the years. That's what's going to come with the technology, the improvements, whatever. But they better make fucking games that are going to be able to handle what they're trying to push.
I read a couple of articles.
Great.
Go ahead, Gray Mouse.
I read a couple articles, and a lot of the people, they're quote unquote calling this Sony's first blunder of the generation. And I'm seeing it on the other side. I'm not saying it's a blunder, but I guess there's a lot of people that are disappointed. In all honesty, people are disappointed with Sony Pro because it's not what they expected it to be, or as powerful.
Pro or the Slim?
The Pro. There's all kind of articles all over the place, man, saying that. So I don't know.
Well, let me just throw my hat in here. Unfortunately, when it comes to focus on games and games only, that's a luxury that first-party developers, first-party publishers do not have. We have to realize that. Otherwise, the industry wouldn't move forward. Okay, that is a luxury that they don't have. Nintendo has to move forward and put out new hardware. Sega had to do that. Sony has to do that. Microsoft has to do that. Everybody has to do that, because otherwise technology will leave them behind. That being said, the thing that when it comes to Sony's PS4 Pro, when it comes to blunders, I really don't see the big brouhaha for a lot of the criticism. A lot of people are levying on it. There are a few reasons why. Number one, the big thing that I hear is, oh, it's only running 4 teraflops of GPU power instead of 6 teraflops. Yeah, but it's also $400. I have a hard time believing that the Scorpio, when it comes out, will come out for less than $600.
Well, see, now I understand what you're saying though, because all of us we did a video on what the price of the NEO and Scorpio was going to be, and actually what the we were actually we put around the 600 for both of them, and it was a real shock that the PlayStation Pro is $400.
And
so we could be wrong with that too.
When we're talking about the VR, because don't forget, it's not even just the systems. You have to get the VR shit too.
Well,
if you're going to be interested in VR.
Yeah, but the VR outside of the scope of what I'm talking about, okay? as far as the price of the system goes, yeah, the GPU is a bit underpowered for what's out there. But as far as consoles go, when has it not been? Because the truth of the matter is, when the Scorpio comes out next year, the GPU that's running in that is already going to be
It's already going to be obsolete.
Whatever's in the PCs right now.
Right.
So yeah, that's just the truth of the matter.
That's
they say it's, they say it's running 6 teraflops of GPU processing power. That's equivalent of a GTX 970. That's last year's.
You see, my basic point is they're going to come out with that shit with the Scorpio next year, and the only exclusive that you're going to have on it is Halo 6 when it comes out.
No, it's not. It's going to be on computer too, man. Don't give them that.
Oh, you think the Halo first-person shooters are going to come too?
Yes. Yes. There is not a doubt in my mind that every fucking thing, because
Halo 5 didn't go PC.
I did a video.
Will soon enough.
I did a video months ago about that. The whole thing is
I'm
that
trying to be the saving grace here.
No. There is no saving grace. Microsoft is bent on making their Xbox One and PC a single console. Why else would they do to play everywhere or play anywhere? I mean, it's becoming more and more obvious about that.
And so you will get a Scorpio because
I don't think I don't know, man.
Here's the thing. Let's go back to the subject at hand, because the thing is that as far as the Scorpio goes, until we get something new, that's kind of beating a dead horse with us. So
at least that has more shit to say about it than the NX.
Well, true, but that's another video. Okay, now back to the PS4. When it comes to the shortcomings of the things that they went ahead and they talked about, it's underpowered, but it's going to be the most powerful system out there as far as consoles up until the Scorpio comes out.
Yes, or until the NX.
Well, I honestly doubt that Nintendo is going to go out of their way to push something out like that. That's gonna pull as much power in as small of a form factor as everybody is expecting it to be, and not have it land within the $350 sweet spot that they always shoot for the release of systems. Okay.
See, what about what do you guys think about the price of the PS4 Pro?
I think it's fair.
I was just about to say, is it fair or is it too much asking for the consumer?
No, I think it's fair. I think it's fair. The one thing that they fucked up with, really, as far as the PS4 Pro goes, and this is the thing that boggles my mind that I will not excuse, is that for all of the touting of 4K, handling 4K gaming, 4K streaming, and everything else, that they didn't include an updated Ultra HD Blu-ray fucking drive. You can't 4K.
And the Scorpio has that.
Yeah, the Scorpio has that. And here's the kicker. Here's the kicker.
The patent.
Yes, Sony owns the fucking thing.
That shit.
Yeah.
That's inexcusable.
Look, if they went ahead and they threw it on there, and even if the PS4 Pro costs $50 more, guess what? It'd be acceptable.
They own the fucking patent, so their rival has it.
I see this online. I understand that they want partnerships with Netflix and Amazon and Hulu and all those other services out there, and they want those subscription dollars and those licensing dollars.
Maybe that's a sign that, going away from this.
Well, here's the stupid thing about that, because I've seen a lot of people say, why would you care about that? I could get 4K streaming. It's like 4K streaming isn't true 4K.
No, it's not.
1080p HD streaming isn't true HD.
No, it's not. Exactly.
All right. And the truth of the matter is that if I have, just going to the Blu-ray thing and the 1080p stuff, is that if I have my fucking Blu-ray of the Avengers, I can go ahead and I could throw that in my PS3, okay, and I could go ahead and watch that, even if my internet is fucking out. Can't do that with streaming. So, it's, unless you want to go ahead and fucking AirPlay it through your goddamn phone, in which case, good fucking luck with that fucking 5 gigabyte fucking data cap you're running. Sure. All right.
So I got a question.
Go ahead.
Does the Xbox Slim have the ultra high Blu-ray disc? I think it does.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
But what the fuck is Sony doing? Are they trying to lose?
Concentrate on games.
Are they trying to?
They're trying to concentrate on games more than anything else.
Well,
I don't think so.
Go ahead, Steve.
Okay, look.
I don't think they're concentrating on games.
Are you going to get this system to put in Blu-rays? Not defending it, because I do understand 100% of what you guys are saying. But I use a video game console.
Well, I use my video game console to actually play Blu-ray discs. I do, to watch movies on.
Because you don't have fucking games to play.
I'm talking about the Sony. I'm talking about Sony PlayStation, dude.
You have more games on the Sony to play than anything else.
But
okay,
Blu-ray
as far as the DVD,
Sony.
wait, but as far as the DVD, as far as the Blu-ray, is it easier navigation or?
The truth of the matter is that as old as the PS3 is still the best Blu-ray player out there. It's still one of the best Blu-ray players. Okay, when it comes to 4K Blu-rays, I'd expect for Sony if they went out for it to be high quality. The thing about it is where I don't worry about for Sony is the fact that yes, games are coming out to it. A lot of games are coming out to it, and that's something that they're not going to lose as far as a foothold in the market to Microsoft. The one thing that I still have reservations on is that I saw the list as far as the games that they're going to go ahead and update for a pro mode as far as the existing library, and it's literally 14 fucking games. The one thing that I am hesitant of when it comes to the PS4 Pro is that how are the existing library titles going to work with that system?
Exactly.
The truth of the matter is, like I said before, if publishers are doing their due diligence, they're going to make sure that their old games, their pre-existing games, run on the new system. Otherwise, they have the potential of pissing off a lot of game owners. And the truth of the matter is that if I find out that, the PS4 Pro comes out, come November 10th, for its $499 that it's set for, that it has trouble running the already established library of games or even a large portion of it, I'm not fucking getting that thing.
It's funny because it's going to be in the middle of the road. The old PS4 is going to be able to run the old games fine, but not run the new games fine. Then you're going to have the PS4 Pro.
No, well, I don't think Sony, I hope Sony wouldn't do this. Even the new games, they should still run on the original PlayStation 4 hardware.
They will.
At a lower frame rate or a lower...
They'll turn down some of the special effects.
Yeah.
That is until the publisher says, hey, look, we can't make this game on the old PS4 hardware. We want to go ahead and make it Pro exclusive, which is going to happen.
Well, I don't know, man. This is just it was so much easier, generations ago when you only had to worry about, one system. You don't have to worry about several systems in the same generation.
Hey, on certain those one systems didn't have good games on them. Just saying.
No, I know. Everything has its disadvantages and faults. Nothing's perfect.
Are the disappointments for the Sony PS4 Pro, are the disappointments justified?
Well, a lot of people think that the Pro is very underwhelming when they're comparing it to what the Scorpio is going to be like come next fall. Well, however, what they're forgetting is that it is an upgrade from their original release PlayStation 4 to the PlayStation Pro. But is it as much of a improvement to go ahead and buy that $400 system versus buying a $250 vanilla system is a question. So
are people going to be willing to wait for the Scorpio, and even wait for it to see how much is it going to be.
That's the thing. I think what's up is that here's the truth of the matter. There are items amongst the list of criticisms for the PS4 Pro that are very, very valid. Not having the Ultra HD player is extremely valid.
That's a selling point or a breaking point for a lot of people.
Yeah, the underwhelming amount of GPU power is also valid to a point, but like I said, when I consider the price point, look, GTX 970 still costs $270 right now.
Well, the thing is, though, people are saying
you've got a whole system here for $400. It's, I think it's not that bad.
people think that it should have been around $350 for the Pro. People are saying $400 is too much for what they're getting.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that complain about the price.
That doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make any sense.
What does make sense?
No, because the original PS4 was that price.
Yeah. I mean, as long as they don't go around start charging people what they originally charged folks for the PS3 when it launched.
Exactly.
How much are PlayStation 4s now? Retail?
$350.
$350.
Generally $300, depending on which PS4 you get.
So for $400, right? You can get 4K streaming, right? You don't get a high fidelity Blu-ray disc.
And the thing about it is,
Pro.
You get the HDR and all the upgraded components, and also the option to go ahead and run newer games on higher settings. So
you're just not going to be able to see your Blu-rays in more clarity.
So is it worth the $50 extra?
Yes.
The $100 extra bucks? I think so. Yeah.
I think so.
I think that's completely fair. And this is considering
that
it's
way better than Connect or not Connect.
Yeah, and also considering a lot of the detractors are the same motherfuckers who trade in for brand new iPhones every fucking year. Yeah, I think the $100 is fair for something that you'll actually own.
Well, see, a lot of people, what they do is there are a lot of people that trade in their current hardware for the newest hardware, which I don't understand why.
They want the latest and greatest, and they think that it's going to be a valuable replacement for what they already got. People actually thought, okay, the original Xbox 360, since it was backwards compatible for, a lot of the games, people was like, oh, I don't need this anymore. I can get this and I can play all my shit.
But that wasn't exactly the case, was it?
Right. It wasn't exactly the case. It was a give or take thing. So with the PS4, people are thinking about it that way, as far as saying, oh, yeah, I can get,
I will be honest, I do not sit within that camp. That is not the type of company I keep.
No.
I am not somebody who can go out of my way and trade off any of my old stuff to get a new system. My only real reservations right now is how is it going to handle the existing library? If it doesn't handle it well, then I have no reason at all to pick it up. I will wait another year.
But does it
for them to tweak it up?
Yeah,
does it really? Does it really matter?
People should be doing that anyway.
Does it really matter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Considering there's already 3 years of really good games already out that I would still like to play.
Exactly.
Yeah, if they don't run right on the newest hardware, what incentive do I have to get the newest hardware?
And here's another thing too. It's going to start at $400. Let's think about this. You're going to have to get hard drives or bigger hard drive space.
It has a 1 terabyte in there, which was par for the course.
And they did improve on how to get into the hard drive as well.
No, wait a minute.
Easier to get into.
Is that for the Slim or for the Pro?
For the Pro.
For the Pro.
Oh, okay, wait. So it's going to come with 1 terabyte and it's only $400?
Yep.
Because 500 gigabytes for the PS4s were $350, give or take.
I don't know. Did they really say the 1 terabyte? You
Yeah,
sure about that?
It's 1 terabyte. Let me see here. I've got my handy dandy hard disk, 1 terabyte. I'm looking at the spec sheet right now. So that's basically the standard standard thing. And I'll be truthful, 1 terabyte hard drives aren't that expensive. You know, I'm kind of expecting that, and that's the minimum that I'm expecting if you're going to be installing full size Blu-rays on it. Because you can have up to 54 fucking gigs on a single disc. So, any other poignant points right now, folks, or is that pretty much what we got?
That's all I got.
Yeah, I think we're pretty clear. You know, the PS4 is an interesting system and has its drawbacks, but you know that's going to be up to you folks as far as what you think about it. Please give us your thoughts. You know, if you're so kind, hit like, hit subscribe, give us comments. We are the 3 middle-aged guys. I am the Reverend.
The theme here.
Gray Mouse 1.
Once again, for the benefits of common sense, logic, and gaming, and Slims, and pros, and cons. Yeah. Games. Just make it about the games. Credits.